I'm having a really hard time getting started today. It may have been the ice cream. I had 2 bowls of ice cream. Ugh. Welcome. I hear a cricket. It seems sort of light outside for a cricket. The door is open. It's normally not open, but today it's open just for air. But I will tell you that we get a lot of unwanted noise on this street from people who insist on going around the red turn light at the intersection before, so then they'll cut around and then they'll race through this residential area, and I'm like, boo on you, get out of our neighborhood. And despite all the signs, kids playing, deaf people live here, cats are around, they don't care. They just speed right through. There goes one right now. Rude. It's so rude. Now, maybe the door being open is a distraction. I don't know. But anyway, we got to do it. We're doing it right now. And so what I'm going to do, this is a productivity tip. I know that you rely on me for so many great tips and other types of value, because really, if you're putting anything out there, it should have value. Creativity tip, if I can find it on my phone. This is why there are accidents when people drive, because you're like, oh, I quickly need to do something. And then you look at your phone and like 36 things are staring back at you and you just like crash. That's what happens. Let's find it. There it is. It's called Clock. And I'm starting the timer. And I'm doing that because, as I said, I learned this productivity tip. If you're having a hard time getting started on something, then you set the timer and you do it just for that amount of time. Now, I will tell you, this is like the 4th time I've tried it, and so far I've wasted a lot of time. But I'm not giving up. I'm going to do it again and see how far we can get on this. Did I intro this yet? Welcome to my amazing How to Start a Podcast video series. We're on episode 6. There you are, racking up. And the comments, I appreciate them so much. I appreciate the thumbs up. And those of you who are subscribing, awesome. I appreciate that too. I even appreciate the thumbs downs. I think it comes from a love of one of my favorite movies, Gladiator. That's the only reason I could think that like someone would just listen to your amazing podcast full of value video series and then just be like, why would you do that, right? Except that you are imagining being Marcus Aurelius's Joaquin Phillips character, Joaquin Rivers character. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about, Gladiator, the guy who wants to rule all of Rome, but isn't going to. He isn't going to, because I read the history book, and I'm pretty sure that Joaquin is not in it. I know you belong to somebody else, but tonight you belong to me. That is my, ow, that's like someone has a voodoo doll and just pinched me with a pin. That may be out there, because I've been getting this like sharp pain in my hip the last couple of days, but it's in the same place and it's very specific. It's totally a pin, someone sticking in a doll. And so I would appreciate if the rest of you could make a doll and then feed it ice cream and surround it with gold coins. Good luck to counter this voodoo doll. I can clear the air with a little bit of this. Thank you. Now we've cleared the air. Hey, be quiet. You guys, this is going awful, but the timer is still running, so we're not stopping. How much longer do I have to do? All right. In my last podcast, I talked about a show that didn't go well, and some of you wrote some very nice comments, and I'm very appreciative of that. And then after I did the taping of the very valuable video podcast ASMR with helicopter sounds sometimes. If you can hear that, that's helicopter sounds that I've added for extra value, flying right above. That gives the show texture, I think. The door is open and the screen is closed, but then all the noise comes in, and sometimes solicitors, which I don't appreciate, especially since there's a no solicitor sign right on the gate before, like there's a gate there and then there's the door. So right before you come into the door, you have to open the gate that says very clearly no solicitors. And people do, and they're like, hi, hello, sorry to bother you, sitting there at your computer trying to do something. What's your cable service? Like we just passed on the street and they're starting a conversation. If I walked down the street with a sign that said no solicitors, I would get fewer people approaching me than actually come to my door with my no solicitors sign. I always want to say when they're like, how's your day going? I want to be like, can't you read? That's the first thing I want to say. But I'm really polite, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. How can I help you? That's what I say. Like, how can I help you now that you've interrupted my day and ignored my instructions? Right out there. No solicitors, but nobody cares. I know this is just going terribly all around. I need like blinders, like a horse. When you have ADD, you absolutely need blinders. You need like blinders and earplugs. Can you hear all that noise? I know you belong to somebody else, but tonight you belong to me. Do you know, in the dawn, you'll be gone, 'cause you belong to me. That's my audition. That is my audition / pitch for a really creepy television series about a woman who kidnaps men who have cheated on the world. Not saying just their spouses, but bad guys, right? It would be like the blacklist. Like, so I'm going after bad guys. That way people would be sympathetic. Like, I don't want to be like crazy. Like, I want to be crazy. I do want to play a crazy character. Villain, absolutely a villain. But I also want to go after the bad guys. Not like the blacklist where he's like getting a get out of jail free card because he's hunting down other bad guys. Not like that. No, I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy, like the Equalizer. And I go after people who start Ponzi schemes and steal people's money, and people who hurt children. I go after all these bad dudes. Oh my God, that's the timer that scared the... So that's my pitch. So if you know anyone in Hollywood, okay, I'm gonna play a crazy woman, and I take people down to my craft room. Because I think the kind of a guy would take you to their basement, but a woman would take you to her craft room, and then she would make crafts out of your body parts and then sell those crafts, and all the proceeds would go to charities that help these people that have been damaged by this bad dude. It's sort of like The Equalizer meets Silence of the Lambs meets HGTV, something like that. That's my pitch. We could make it a movie and then start it and then turn it into a successful series. We could probably make like 3 movies out of that, because they would think they catch me, but they didn't, and then I'd be back. Or maybe they would catch me, but then I'd get to jail and I'd escape, or I'd have a really good attorney, or I'd get off on a technicality. I think I'd have to get off on a technicality. Or I could be like Martha Stewart and just go to jail but then do the same thing in jail. Oh my goodness, this is really developing now. So that's my pitch. And this would be my theme song. And I would sing this theme song while I kind of taunted my prey. And then afterwards, like when they're like trying to find me, the FBI agent, it wouldn't be a woman, it'd be a guy, be a young guy, be like a young Clarice, but like a guy, and he's got a lot to prove, and he had problems with his parents at some point, and that's why he's in the FBI. He comes around and knocks, and of course I'm perfectly unsuspectable because I do crafts. Then afterwards, after I disappear, he could go knock on the neighbor's door and say, like, have you seen anything unusual? And the neighbor would be like, no. Once in a while, I hear this like kazoo. And the FBI agent, he'd make a note about it. He'd be like, oh, a kazoo. Later in the movie, they'd be in my house and they'd be looking around and they'd find this, the kazoo. And he'd go like, wait a minute. And then I would come from behind with some scissors, because it's craft. I'd be like, can I help you? And he'd be like, I just wondered, do you play the kazoo? And I'd say, oh no, that came with some flowers. I don't know anything about that kazoo playing sound that you heard. Oh wait, here's an idea. This kazoo came in some flowers that were sent to my character by a guy who turned around and not only cheated on me, but then also stole all my money. And that's why I now have to fend for myself by making crafts, HGTV style, and selling them on Etsy. Just riffing here off the top of my head, but I feel it. Like I feel this is a character I could play because I love crafts and I love thrillers. And I would play a good villain. If you've never seen this chili video I did, it's sort of a similar thing. In fact, that probably could be turned into a movie too. It's just a short video where I make chili, but there's something else going on. But that could be a movie too. That could be a movie about a woman, and she's been married a couple of times, right? And then the husband always like suspiciously dies, and it turns out that she is, killing them with her killer cooking skills. That would be like Black Widow meets the Food Network. Couple good ideas there. So if you know anybody in Hollywood, or you have a lot of money and you would like to fund this, then I'll get the movie made. I'm not sure that we talked about how to start a podcast much, but I think that that's kind of irrelevant because we're on the brink of something big here. Now, does that mean when the movie comes out and I've got my television series, am I still going to have time to do this podcast? Probably, because, when you're a big star like that, you have a trailer and you spend a lot of time in the trailer. And I would podcast video series, Unintentional ASMR from my trailer, my custom trailer, actually. Maybe not for the first movie, but definitely by the time we get to, the second season of the TV series, I'd be like, hey guys, can I get a bigger trailer? Because I got to do some podcasting. And I think they'd go for it. And there you go. Another episode of my amazing How to Start a Podcast video series, Unintentional ASMR. And I think we covered a lot. I think I pitched a couple of solid blockbuster with subsequent TV series ideas. And so this week, if you have the chance, call your friends who are into making things happen, and let's make this happen. And we also had a great productivity tip. Start a timer and do that for a certain amount of time. And there you go. That's it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.